Hey, what is going on, YouTube? Hey, Aaron here. We are back in the Sangjong, trying to get a few cinematic shots, pretending I'm Durka for about 8 seconds here. But I told you guys I had another fantastic game to put, but I wanted to put that first game. And ironically, the first game we put was our first game, and this was actually our second game right after that one. Sangjong has quickly become one of my favorite ships, not only at Tier 8, but in the entire game. Even in the cruiser class, I love the Seattle. I really enjoy it. It's just kind of cookie cutter for me, and I do love the Buffalo, but playing those over and over. This is just a different style of play because this play style really rewards positioning and you know, it's not a brain-dead play style. Now, if you do find an island with a teammate, and we actually did have somebody stream sniping in this game, Jalen, so don't stream snipe, but he ended up being on our team. And, you know, this is another spammer, but with that health pool of 29,800, you can get dev struck with 2 citadels from nearly any battleship. Or, you know, if you've lost some health already, you can get dev struck with overpens. So positioning is key in this ship. On top of that, you only have, I think, an 11% fire chance. 11% fire chance, so it's not like you know, an insane you know, rate of fire, as well as you only have very limited DPM in terms of damage that your HE deals. But like we mentioned, if you can get an island here and a carrier or a destroyer to spot for you, this ship can be absolutely devastating. Now, I will say that I know a lot of people are going to complain about spammers, spammers, but if you guys just simply position better or find ways to, you know, if you're getting spammed in every single game you're playing, you're not playing battleships correctly. I do think HE spam is a little bit of a problem, and especially with the Colbert at Legendary tier. I have no idea what Wargaming was doing buffing that ship. It just tells me that they don't play their game. But this ship has very limited range and limited damage potential, I guess, compared to others. Also, it relies heavily on an aggressive enemy team, and with the recent matches of, like, look at this, 6 battleships, 1 cruiser and 2 destroyers, the Pan-Asians will excel heavily at these games. Now, the Zeton does actually put me in a little bit of a bad situation here. He gets close to this island, and with his hydro or your smoke firing penalty, he could have had me spotted. So that is a way to counter these cruisers. Either push their smoke or position, you know, behind islands, or not. You know, like I said, if you're constantly getting spammed, you're not doing something correctly. The days of sitting in the back in your battleship and getting broadside targets are over. And that is honestly why sometimes I just hate playing battleships, because your team will not do anything for you. As that guy blocks my torps, I think. Was that? No, they actually got off. It's kind of funny, in this game we actually get 0 torpedo hits, believe it or not, but we actually get some of the most damage I've ever gotten in this ship. 220 or 212 or something like that, which just emphasizes position and you know, playing smarter, which is what I really enjoy about these ships. Now, I'm not shooting here, and I wasn't shooting for that exact reason. We are inside our smoke firing penalty, and if these were not ghost shells, you can see they just kind of, well, actually those missed, but I think 2 of them were ghost shells. We could have taken some serious damage, but he is now behind the island, and we move on to the Minnesota. A strategy for playing these ships is to set maybe 1 or 2 fires and then switch to another target. For example, we had the Zeton burning, we switched to the Minnesota. I think we set 2 fires on the Minnesota, and I'm not sure if he put those out or he has fight fire with fire, but it looked like those fires stopped ticking. The Z46 goes detected, or the ZF6 rather, goes detected here, so we're going to do what every cruiser should do and shoot at it. You know, that's one of my favorite things. It's mainly battleship players. I love you guys. I have a game coming out on the Burgoyne. And I've been enjoying playing battleships a little bit more, but it's still frustrating to me because you will play the correct way in a battleship, and your team will just do absolutely nothing to support you. It's the same in this game, period. You know, and not every player is going to think that they have to play exactly how you want to play, etc. But it's funny to me when battleship players complain about that, but yet I see them lob shots over destroyers to hit battle tanking battleships. It's like, okay, well, if you don't want to get killed by spammers, shoot the spammers. If you don't want to get torped by destroyers, shoot the destroyers, etc. The problem is battleships are big, juicy targets for DPM, like this Minnesota is here. But there's nothing at this point, there's nothing he can do, but he could have positioned better. He followed his Zeton in and did not create any additional angles. Now, like I mentioned, it's kind of tough to communicate with your teammates, and especially solo, but this game was, you know, solo, and we have a Burgoyne 300K coming up that was done solo, or 293. I don't want to clickbait, right? But that is our flank secured, the Arsonist on the Minnesota. Those slow, dreadnought-type American battleships will suffer tremendously. Now you will notice that our team is actually in very good position, but this game comes down, it is a lot closer than it should have been, to be honest. But the enemy destroyer did get that cap, so we're going to go ahead and move in here. Our ships from the middle did abandon their flank. I don't know why B is wide open. They could have crossfired A, but that would not have allowed me to get the most amount of damage I did. So thank you to you gentlemen for not playing your spawn. I just don't understand why. I don't know. I guess we never will, right? The next part of the game is a little boring here. This Atlantico is kind of kiting, and I do have a video coming out on that ship. Guys, that ship is not good. It doesn't have its own dedicated commander, but I even think with its own dedicated commander, I don't think it'll be good. So stay tuned for that video as well. But in the meantime, we have 2 kills, 9 fires on 230 target hits. So we have yet to, we did not fire AP at all. So like a 5% fire chance, essentially. If you round that up to 10, and the do 10 is 10% of 100, we're around a 5%, even less fire chance. So HE spam is not a problem in this ship, but the overall rate of fire and the number of guns can be. We know that this is like, I think it's an upgraded Atlanta. The turrets looked a little bit longer than they do on the Atlanta, and you are missing 2 guns, but in return you do get those deep water torpedoes. I think on stream I told TBZ to go or pinged B, or told him to go into B, and he does. There is the Yugumo. He smokes up. We're going to try and throw some fire. We actually do get him a hit on him, but trying to lead targets at that range who are actively maneuvering is going to be impossible. But like we mentioned in so many other videos, one hit is the difference, right? One overpen on a battleship is a massive amount of damage to a destroyer. It will raise your XP, it will raise your credit earnings, it will raise whatever you want to do. It will help you win the game. But here's another position that we talked about, right? If this Atlantico had kept kiting back, instead he turns in to try and get a full salvo on, and as a result we are able to hide behind this island and DPM for free. Anytime you can DPM for free, you should do so. I guess it's everyone who watches my videos knows that you should do this, but I still see Facebook posts. It's like, come out from behind your island and fight like a man. Yes, this ship has absolutely no armor except for like one plate on the Citadel belt there, and 5-inch guns. So yeah, you sure showed me, right? I do have some respect for those battleship players, because they will play like that till the end of time, and anyone who doesn't play like that is just wrong. But now we're floating between islands here, which is another way, but we do have our smoke screen up, so the utility of this ship lacks utility in terms of radar, in terms of hydro, in terms of spotting, I guess. But you do have your concealment and your defensive perks. This ship is meant to play defensively. Unfortunately, in this game, we are on the offensive, and we do pay for it a little later in this game. But if you play the ship, kind of correctly, and your team gives you just a little bit, you can have massive games in this ship. The enemy team is doing exactly what we need them to, however, and that is because we have the center cap. So shout out to our destroyer for grabbing that cap. But they are pushing into us, and that is what this ship excels at, and that is where your utility lies. Your smoke screens, your long-range, deep-water torpedoes. Like we mentioned, we actually didn't get any torpedo hits. I know, shocker. But you saw in the first game we played in this thing that when the enemy's pushing into you, you can launch those, and you do have 4 torpedo reload boosters. I don't know why I didn't use one earlier. Use them as much as you want. Use them often. But I love to flood lanes, and honestly, we probably don't even need 4 because of how short Legends games are with their limited time regardless, and just with how bad the teammates can be. So you will probably never use 4, but we are using that 4th mod slot in that commander, and I do show him at the end for this game. But we have another smoke screen up here. The Prince Rupert goes down, and I know that our destroyer or our carrier will get some spots, but I go ahead and launch some torps preemptively, and there is that Musashi. And this poor guy is about to feel all 10 of my 5 inches. Wait, what? My 5-inch guns there. So he is in a rough spot. He's being spotted by a destroyer and a carrier. So there's not much this guy can do. This is an unfortunate set of circumstances for him. But we're going to DPM. We launched those torps like we mentioned preemptively. I think I used my reload booster here. I could have used it a lot sooner. I also could have went a little bit further north. This ship does have fantastic AA without any commanders really. And I did think I changed the first modification slot to AA because you don't really need aiming systems. It is nice to have a little bit extra dispersion, but honestly with your rate of fire and being at this range most of the time, accuracy is irrelevant. So I did listen to ping on that one, but you'll notice we do have a metric crap ton of torps, and with our reload booster you can get even more. So I can't wait for the tier 10, the Jinang, with 5 torps per launcher, so 10 aside, where this is 16 aside, or 8 aside, so 16 total, and then 32 with your booster. Unfortunately, the Musashi backed up, so our one potential torp hit would have ran out, and we do get a funny moment at the end with the torpedoes, but here's the spot where you're the most vulnerable. I decided to shoot because of how well our team was doing, and we got a little bit lucky with RNG on that shot. Also because we were maneuvering. I see a lot of players sail in straight lines, and honestly, sometimes when I'm dodging at range, I should just sail in a straight line because the shots typically land, auto aim shots typically land a little bit shorter than the full lead, depending on the ship caliber and such. But there is our Witherer. We have the 2 toxic metals, the Arsonist and the Witherer. But this next shot shows why you don't want to be, out in the open too much in these ships. 1, 2, 3 hits there, full penetrations along the width of the ship, and we're actually lucky that we weren't dev struck there. I think it was, who was it the other night on stream? I was playing this thing and they dev struck me in the Musashi, so we were doing count-ins, and I was like, here, I won't maneuver, you can get, the game is over, and I was like, here, don't maneuver, so having a little bit of fun, but you can get dev struck in these things very easily. I actually got full health dev struck through the front in the Harbing against Bismarck, so but we popped the reload booster here. You want to try and get both sides off, but in this situation, it's just not worth it. You don't have the best maneuverability. It's still decent, but there is the high caliber, 142-ish. He does have a fire, and he is within 9 kilometers, so we're going to go ahead and switch to the AP. I don't think there's anything special about this AP, but AP is AP, and you can see 45, 4600 there every 5 seconds. He also has a double fire burning. I think one of those is ours. I don't think another one is ours. But that's also a strategy to think about. If this player has fight fire with fire and we light a third fire, it's just gonna be put out. Also, if he pops his damage con, which I think he did earlier, and you set 2 fires, or even 1 fire, and you switch to the AP, you're going to be double ticking damage. And what we mean by that is he's going to be burning, and you're going to be getting the AP penetrations that you wouldn't necessarily get with the HE. Like we mentioned, the HE I don't think has any extra values, so just keep that in mind if tips that I'm giving you guys to become a better player. Now here he is angled, so the AP wouldn't be doing much. There's probably not that much left on his superstructure. You can see 16 shatters there, a few penetrations, but most of that health is gone. We unfortunately missed the kill on that. We just missed the kill on the Ruprecht, so we actually miss out on a Kraken here, but a fantastic game so far, and it only gets a little bit better in these last 2 minutes here. The Kaga, I'm not sure what he was doing. He never attacked. I don't think he attacked us once. We don't have a single plane, and that's probably smart considering we have 99 or 98 AA. And I think it actually went up to 100 when I switched that modification I told you guys about earlier. But thanks to the spotting from TBZ here, we are just able to DPM this Kaga. Now, I was playing around with the ammo types. Certain carriers you will not get penetrations on the deck, but you can see that we are here. We also, we want to pop that fire so we can set off his damage con. Now, there's only 90 seconds left in the game as we tick the Confederate. So all of these skill damage medals we have now acquired. Just what every Battleship player wants, right? You guys can see me. I'm just spamming very in-depth, high-thought gameplay here, just spamming RT. But what we're also doing is we are not sailing directly into A. There is a Drake out there, and while the Drake is not going to be the strongest ship, that ship can absolutely detonate ships like myself. Those 230, I think they're 234s on the Drake will obliterate these ships. I'm pretty sure he can overmatch me as well. I'm not 100% sure on that. I think we do have a 16 millimeter bow, so he can go straight through me. But we throw a blind fire there, and you'll actually watch it go just a touch high, right? Of course, almost got that blind fire, but more spotting, and we do get the kill on the Kaga here. And then we're worried about the Drake. Now, unfortunately, the time does run out, but I want to try and angle for him. You can see he's coming around the corner. I do throw a set of torpedoes long. Why do we do that? Just in case he turns out, and then we do throw a set of torpedoes short. The reason we throw the set short is honestly more important because when players see that first set, they usually stop and turn in. So you want to make sure that that set is short. Now he actually turns out, which I don't know why he did, but of course the time runs out before we could get our torpedo hits and our 4th kill. So almost had 6, only ended with 3, but a 3,000 base XP game. Nonetheless, high caliber Confederate, Witherer, and Arsonist, all of the skill medals in the Sangjiang. 212, so not 220, but we did have 664 target hits with only 19 fires. So that fire chance, now we did switch to AP, and we did, shoot at parts of a ship that were on fire. But, thank goodness that the fire chance is only 11%, because if it was higher, we'd have about 30 fires. So a fairly balanced ship. I know the battleship mains are going to be, the HE spam. Position better is my message for that. For my cruiser mains, try out this ship. It is a beauty. I really enjoy it. Here's my build again. We are running this, but like I said, Ingenious or even Beyond Range. I don't think you need Beyond Range. I really don't. This ship has 15 kilometers of range, and that is the playstyle of the ship. If you were spamming at like 17 or 16 and a half, you're probably not the best cruiser player. But anyway, that is the build we are running, and then we are running the very unique looking perk there. With these 2 inspirations, I probably need to switch Lightful, but Makawa is a good choice for your concealment. That is the video. I hope you guys have a great Monday. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video. I had a lot of fun over the weekend, everybody. Aaron out. Peace.